Hello and welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with the Mayor. My name is Damian Graham and I'm here with Nancy McFarland, our wonderful mayor. We are, it's been couple weeks, couple months since we last had a chance to talk. But since that time, we've had a great new exciting building that's unveiling, and that is Union Station. Mayor, tell us about what all that means.
Well, it means a lot, actually. You know, it's an incredible facility, and we're so happy that it's finally open. And, you know, besides the fact that it's, you know, sustainable, it's got incredible space inside that people will use for events. It's not just a train station. Of course, it's, you know, LEED certified and even has tactile wayfinding for people that are visually impaired. It has on-ramp boarding for the trains, which means, you know, if you're carrying a suitcase or you're in a wheelchair or you've got a stroller, you just go right onto the train.
There's no step down,
There's
as
no
most
step down or
places
step
have that.
up. Yeah, so we're very excited about that. You know, one of the coolest things about it is, you know, we were looking at that whole area trying to decide where we were going to put a multimodal facility, because we knew we wanted the commuter rail and high-speed rail eventually. If it ever happens, we'll come in there, and buses, and staff was down there looking around, and they were wondering, should we look for something temporary, whatever, and Roberta Fox was there and just was looking at the old Dillon building, and she kind of said, why don't we use this? You know, so they rehabbed it, and it's really interesting because it's got some of the old elements from, you know, when it was this facility that would take stuff off of trains. You can see the lifts on the ceiling, but then it's got very modern twists, lots of glass, lots of light. I'm very excited. We'll have some restaurants and coffee shops. They're not in yet, but they'll be coming in there soon. There's a rain garden for stormwater, so it's got a lot of great things.
Well, it's an amazing reuse of space, and it's just one of those moments where you can really sort of be proud of Raleigh, because it is a spectacular building. A lot of wonderful natural light, and so we had a ceremony recently to sort of celebrate the fact that the building is almost done.
Almost.
And so we can expect train service, I think, at the end of May.
Right, it was that end of May, 1st of June. But the other thing this building shows is, just like when we did the convention center or we redid Hillsborough Street, you know, when we put money into a project, when the city says, yes, we believe in development in this area, then that kickstarts things like the Dillon, which is just opening now, and that is phenomenal. So we love to see big private investment come and pay taxes and you know, help enliven the whole area. So we saw what the convention center really did for downtown, and this is really, you know, kicking off the warehouse district.
Yeah, it is the anchor of the warehouse district, and we can see, all you got to do is just, you know, drive through and you can see all the cranes and buildings popping up left and right. Well, we are shooting this one today at Fletcher Park with the beautiful flowers and trees around us. And all parks, like Fletcher Park, are governed by a commission or a board. And so I want to talk to you more about that.
Okay.
So let's just have a seat and talk.
Sure. This is a beautiful park.
All right. So, Mayor, what we talked about was that we are in a beautiful park, and there is a Parks and Recs Commission, but there are also about 15 other boards and commissions that every council meeting, you and your fellow council members name members to these boards.
Right.
You know, how do these things come about? How does people get involved in them, and what is their role?
You know, we do have a great deal of, like you said, it's at least 15, and they're really varied. We have Arts Commission, we have historic cemeteries, we have one with actually historic properties and the museum. We have obviously Planning Commission, Appearance Commission, we have environmental, bike and ped, so there's definitely housing, something for everyone. And people are nominated to serve on the boards and commissions by different city council members, and you can go online and look at the different boards and commissions and kind of see the scope of what they do, how often they meet, and you can apply online. You're certainly welcome to call me or any council member and talk about it. You know, I'm always just so impressed with how much people give of their time. I mean, it really is incredible, because, you know, we can't do it all, and
Sure.
even staff. But it's also really, really important to have citizens engaged in planning process. I know for parks and recreation, every time we start thinking about a new park or renovating an old park or whatever, it's so important to have members of the community on board. And then of course they go out and they have community meetings. But we just couldn't run the city without it.
So obviously it's a great way for citizens to have a role in their communities, but do I have to be an expert in planning to be on the planning board? Do I need to be an expert in historic
No.
whatever to be
No.
on this? Okay.
I think you just have to have an interest and a passion for it. Sometimes it's been interesting. I was the liaison to the Arts Commission for a few years, and they had, at first it was all artists, but then they started thinking, it would be really great if we had someone that was in marketing, or we had someone with, sort of different skills that allowed them to sort of branch out and think about, we've got great programs, how do we push them out? How do we market them? And there's always staff there to help, but lots of times the boards will say, we really need somebody in this, our transit board, we need somebody that rides the bus.
Right.
Right. You don't have to be a traffic engineer. We just need somebody that rides the bus all the time. So we really do try to get a variety of people on there.
Well, and so putting from that to something that people can be excited about is, I know there's a recent announcement about a big concert that's happening in a park.
Yes.
This fall.
It is. Dreamville is having a big festival on September 15th.
Now, who's Dreamville? Some folks may not.
Well, Dreamville is the recording company owned by our own Jay Cole, who lives right here in Raleigh. He's originally from Fayetteville, moved to New York and did all that, but he has come back to Raleigh and really is embracing the community. And I met him, at least a year ago maybe, at an event, and we spent a long time talking about all kinds of things with the community. But then he followed up with this really a dream of having a festival in Dix Park, because he really does want to embrace the community, kind of show his love for the community. And we've talked about lots of different ideas and things we can do together, but this will be the first ticketed event we have in the park. And so of course, we're calling it the park, but it still doesn't have electricity or water or a lot of things in that big field. Right. We had Destination Dix
There was
last
one festival,
year, which was the hottest day of the whole year.
It was the hottest
it was like
on the planet.
6 degrees or something. And yet 25,000 people still came. They all stood under the trees on the edge, but we did learn, you don't have to put stages all around the whole field, because it was so hot. Everybody would find one and sit, and that trek was just brutal. Yes. So this is in September. You never know. We'll hope it's a little bit cooler. They're not using the whole field. I've seen sort of the preliminary map, but they've got great partners. The partner that is really helping to do the festival has done them all over the world, and they're working really closely with our staff. And for me, I wanted this to be part of the planning process for Dix. What can we learn from putting this on, or being a part of putting it on? Because we know once that is, everybody's moved off and we're really using that more as a park, that we're going to want to keep doing festivals, even before that, obviously. But so it's a great learning experience for us. And it's also a learning experience for them. We don't have any parking on the park, so everybody has to be transported on and off the park. There's a lot of things like that, but I met with the whole team a couple weeks ago, and they're phenomenal. They're on it. I mean, I was like, so we're all hanging out, and it's 4:30 and a tornado comes. What do we do? And
you got to think through those
all
things.
those things they've already thought through, because they do it so often. So I'm very excited.
Well, and the timing, correct me if I'm wrong, is just about in sync with right after that. I think that we'll have a vision for what the planning process will reveal potentially. Right.
They're trying to.
Speaking of the park specifically, not just the concert.
I think somewhere in that August, October, somewhere in that range, they'll go through a couple drafts. I mean, it's still so much information gathering and meetings, and there's still so much going on. But really, this, the master plan sort of sets the vision. I think that we'll be looking at what can we do as a phase one. You know, what can we really tackle that'll be really impactful that people can see and love. One of the things they've suggested that I just love this idea is doing a big land bridge from Dix Park over Western Boulevard to Pullen Park. So if you're still, doesn't really change how you come down Western, you just at some point almost feel you're going through a tunnel, but you could walk from Dix Park all the way to Pullen Park and never leave a park.
Wow.
It's always green, it's always, so that's planned. Then you have to figure out the reality of can you really make that work. But they've got some amazing sort of visionary ideas like that.
So clearly that's still in the concept stage and,
yes,
and nothing's
we're
been
still in
said.
the concept. Yes.
Well, they're thinking about everything, it sounds like.
We're thinking about everything, and you know, there's everything from the old state landfill is on the property, and taking the creek that goes kind of parallel to Western Boulevard. Most people don't even know it's there because it's kind of a ditch like this, but they've talked about widening that out and really thinking about even having that sort of a meandering place to play, you know. But that wouldn't, then that gets into that landfill issue. Right. So there's all these, there's these great visions, and then there's the reality of all the pieces that have to come together to make it work. So we're and then you know what? In 2 weeks they may have a totally different idea that's even more fabulous. So
well, a lot to look forward to, obviously, in the months to come, and we appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here on this beautiful,
this is a good one.
picturesque, quintessential Raleigh day. And thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.